In this video, I'm gonna share some great street photography tips. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto and I'm a photographer. And one of my favorite genres of photography is street and documentary. And in this video, I'm gonna share some great street photo tips. And I guarantee if you follow these advice and these tips, you're gonna get some great results and improve your street photography. But before I go any further, let's first establish what street photography is. And this is of course just my perception of street photography, and if yours is radically different, please do leave a comment down below and share your perception of street photography. My opinion is that street photography is essentially documenting what is happening around you in some sort of urban environment. It doesn't actually have to be even a big city or real urban environment. It can be even a pretty remote location as long as there are some signs of human interaction, people or man-made structures or something like that. If it's just a piece of nature, then I don't think you can call it street photography no matter what. But especially if there are people in some really remote location, then and there is some interesting going on with those people, then I think it can be called street photography, even though there is no street anywhere nearby. A long time ago, I studied photography in Pasadena, California. I went to Art Center College of Design, and one of the teachers back then said something that is very appropriate for this video. And he said that, or suggested that whenever we photograph something, we should photograph it exactly like we were photographing our favorite subject or favorite genre. And now that we are talking about street photography, let's say you are very much into landscape photography, but you'd like to get started with street photography. Then take all that knowledge and all those elements that you use in your landscape photography and transfer them into your street photography. Take, for example, a little bit wider scenes with more than one people in the scene, and see if those people, when they move around, if they form some sort of interesting composition, or if they seem to interact with each other's composition-wise, and maybe you choose the same time of the day as you usually do your landscape photography, use same kind of compositional elements, maybe same type of leading lines. By the way, I hate that word. I really hate that word. It's so cliche. But anyway, use even leading lines or something in your street photography and see if you can make that work for you. And another example could be portrait photography. If you're a portrait photographer and that is your favorite genre, and especially if you like environmental portraits, those are very similar to street photos in a sense that there is the subject, usually a human being, and then the background or the environment, and that subject and the environment, they are somehow connected, and the story kind of comes together when the subject and the background are in the same picture. So let's say you are in a big city taking street photos. Maybe you try to pick a location or a scene that is somehow similar to an environmental portrait. Maybe try to pick similar type of light, and then you wait there and see when people are walking into your scene, and if you can make your environmental portrait know-how and skills work for you also in street photography. Of course, you cannot control your subjects in street photography, but I think that's part of the fun and excitement also in street photography, the unexpected. You can never be quite sure what is going to happen, and I think that exactly makes it fascinating. And of course, when you shoot more street and you get more experience, then of course your street photography style is probably also going to develop and become maybe something else. Who knows, maybe after a couple of years your street photography style is something totally different compared to what it was when you started. But I think if you are a beginner, those tips that I said are good advice, because we all have some favorite genre of photography, and take all the knowledge and experience you have in your current favorite genre and transfer those into street photography and see if that works for you. I think it's a great starting point at least. And in the end, I think all photography is pretty much the same thing. We are looking for the same things no matter what we shoot and how we shoot. We're looking for the light, composition, subject, timing, and that kind of elements, no matter what we shoot. In some type of photography, we can control pretty much everything, in a studio for example, but in street photography we cannot control. We just have to be in the right place at the right time. Now I still have 5 short tips for you guys, and those tips can really improve your street photography. Number 1 is observe and predict. You have to keep your eyes open and you have to look around constantly, and you have to forget everything else. If your mind is distracted, then you can't see what is happening around you. And you have to be able to predict also what is going to happen. Let's say you see a patch of light there and you see a person walking there. You can be pretty sure that the person in 15 seconds, that person is going to be in that patch of light, and that can be a great picture. So be ready when the person reaches that patch of light and hit the shutter. Just one example of predicting what is going to happen or what may happen in the very near future. Unobtrusive. Number 2, be casual and unobtrusive. Don't try to hide your camera, or don't try to be some sort of a stalker, because that doesn't look good. Just be yourself and be relaxed, and whenever you see something, take your camera and take the picture. It may feel that everyone is looking at you when you are, holding your camera on your eye, but the truth is that in most big cities or in most urban situations, people are just not seeing what is happening around them, and they don't notice if one has a camera and if one is taking pictures. So whenever you see something happening, just grab the shot. I'm sure there are some situations where that advice is not a very good advice, but in most normal situations it is a very good advice. So just be yourself, be casual, unobtrusive, and whenever you see something, be brave and take the picture rather than regret afterwards that why didn't I press that shutter. Number 3, know your gear and keep it simple. I know this is the usual advice, but I can't emphasize it enough. I mean, no matter what you shoot, you should always know your gear so well that you don't even have to think about it. And in street photography, things can happen fast and unexpectedly, so it's even more important to have your camera ready and to be able to use it anytime something happens. Otherwise you're gonna miss those great shots. And my advice is to have one camera with one prime lens, because that kind of a setup is the simplest you can have, and there's a minimal amount of gear distraction present if you have that kind of a very simple setup. Number 4, be patient and keep shooting. You can't expect to take several great pictures every day. Sometimes it can take 2 weeks or more to get the next great picture. And trust me, every street photographer has the same problem. No one can shoot constantly every day great pictures. Sometimes even I have managed to take several great pictures in one day, but then after that it might take another 2 weeks until I get my next great picture. Street photography is a long-term plan. You have to be committed and you have to be patient. The more you shoot, the more experience you get and the better you learn to see what is actually happening around you. Number 5, trust yourself and be yourself. We all have photographers who are like role models for us, and we probably unintentionally try to copy their pictures, or we take some elements from their pictures into our pictures, and that is just fine. But you should not force yourself into uncomfortable photo situations. Street photography can be intimidating as it is, so I don't think you should make it any more intimidating or difficult than it already is, especially if you're starting out. So don't try to copy other photographers if that can take you in some uncomfortable photo situations. Just take pictures that come naturally and that make you feel good and comfortable when you are taking those pictures. And once you learn more and get more experience, then your street photography probably evolves, like I said already before, and it may become something else, and that is just fine if it comes naturally and through growing and learning. But don't force yourself to copy someone else if that doesn't feel good. That's all I have to share in this video. I hope these can help you, and I know they can help you if you just do what I said. I really hope this can help you, and if you like this video and if you like this a lot, please consider buying me a cup of coffee. There's a link down below for that. Thank you so much for watching, and also please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.